Welcome to the HiFLEX Health and Performance Podcast, where I'm your host, Dr. Chelsea Smith. We'll be talking about all things physical therapy, where we believe an almighty God created us to move and to be able to heal. Join us as we talk through whole body health, pain relief, post-surgical rehab, life lessons we've learned, things we repeatedly tell our patients, and the list goes on. All right, welcome to episode 3. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it so far and are ready to learn more and dig a little deeper into some of these topics that we're talking about. So today I want to talk about baseline, touching base with your baseline, just checking in with your baseline. What does that even mean? What does it apply in physical therapy? Things like that. So things that I encourage my patients to be aware of, and just not even my patients, just people in general, is knowing your baseline. So when I say that, what that means is at any given point in time, what do you normally feel like? If you're not aware of what your body feels like, if you're not aware of what certain joints feel like, when something comes up that is problematic and you're having symptoms, it's hard to even know what the biggest change is. So let's take, for example, a hip. If you have hip pain and you come to physical therapy and we're checking range of motion side to side, I'm a bigger fan of looking at symmetry versus just numbers, because a number on paper can say, oh, you're within normal limits, or you're within this typical range, or not. But what's most important is, does it look totally different than your other side? Are you symmetrical, or are you totally different right to left? Now, if I go and I check someone's hip and I find that they have way reduced internal rotation of their hip, that can tell me a few things, but also I'm curious how long it's been like that. And if people have no idea what their body has generally felt like, I don't know if maybe this hip has been like this for years. I don't know if maybe it's been like it for a couple months. I don't know if it only came on with symptoms, things like that. And so it's nice to know, generally speaking, what your range of motion is, what your joints feel like, what your body feels like. Do you tend to have more tension? Do you tend to have more stiffness? Because then when something comes up, we can have a little bit more clarity in dialogue of knowing when some of these things started changing. Now, this is an interesting one that I tend to do for whatever reason, late at night. If I'm, avoiding going to bed, or I get stuck in a thought loop, I'll stand in front of a mirror, and sometimes it's like, what does my range of motion look like? Because the amount of people that really have no idea when they lost the ability to, we'll stick with hips, when they lost the ability to sit on the floor, crisscross applesauce, or move in and out of like a 90-90 shin box move, is a lot. I don't actually know. I haven't tried this in forever. And that's just natural, and it happens over time. But I want to encourage people, start today. It's never too late. So what I like to do is I will literally stand in front of a mirror, like I was saying, and I will raise both my arms over my head. What does that feel like? Can I go overhead with both? Interesting. Like right now, I've got a case of mommy shoulder from carrying my baby around a lot, and my left arm does not go overhead as easily as my right arm. And let's say I didn't have any symptoms. Let's say I didn't have any problems, but I didn't realize that tension started building. Then all of a sudden one day when I do have symptoms, I may put it overhead, and it's like, whoa, how long have I not been able to do that? And I just think it's good. It's just good to really check in with your body, see what it's feeling like, know what your joints feel like, so that you don't just wake up one day and say, I can't sit crisscross applesauce, or turns out I can't reach up my back with one arm and I can with the other. Or interesting, I didn't realize that I can't actually look all the way left or all the way right compared to the other side. So that's just something I think is very valuable, is knowing those things. Another thing I encourage people to do, especially with just the times were crazy from 2020 onward, right? Health has a little bit of a different meaning when people are a little bit afraid of catching something, or, just whatever the case may be. But I am a big encourager of even checking in with your lymphatic system. Like, check under your jawline, check on your collarbone, check in your groin line, check behind your knees. How is that feeling? Do you tend to have swollen lymph nodes? Do you tend to have not swollen lymph nodes? I, for example, if you can tell I'm a little bit nasally today anyways, can tell when I'm about to get ill, or if something is happening in my body, because I'll check out my lymph nodes, and if I notice, hey, they're a little bit swollen, that's kind of odd. Or interesting, they're a little bit swollen and I'm a little bit more fatigued. maybe I have no symptoms, maybe I feel fine, but it's just nice to know what your body is up to. And the key things that protect us are our nervous system that we've talked about, our lymphatic system, and our musculature symptoms. So our musculature is supposed to protect our organs. Our lymphatic system is supposed to help fight off illness. It's supposed to fight off free radicals and inflammatory things. Our nervous system is supposed to tell our brain, hey, something is happening here. I either need to be in fight or flight, or I need to be in rest or digest, or hey, this area, something's going on here, so I'm going to send a pain signal, things like that. If we aren't generally aware, it's kind of hard to know how far something has changed. So those are some things that I think are just very, very helpful. Not saying every single day you need to go, check your armpits, check your chin, check your jawline, check your groin, anything like that. But like once a week, at least once a month is pretty nice to know, because you may all of a sudden be like, how long has that swollen lymph node been there? Or, how long has my neural tension been really high? So that's something that I want to go into more detail in a future episode, and maybe pull up the green screen and show you guys where all of this stuff lives. I'm going to try and put on some images to this podcast anyways after the fact and just show you some of the things that I'm talking about. But there's just a lot of people that don't know how they feel because they're constantly trying to avoid checking in with themselves. And that can extrapolate not even just to the physical body, to the emotional body, because stress has a huge role in our sensitization. And if we're avoiding things, if we're avoiding dealing with an emotion and we just tuck it away somewhere and we don't really check in with ourselves of like, am I feeling stressed? Am I feeling any kind of way? If we just avoid, then sometimes we miss out on all these whispers that the body is giving us, and it just yells at us one day. And then we're kind of caught off guard. So this is just a quick, short episode to remind you to just check in with yourself, check in with your body. How are your joints moving right to left? Just check them all out. You don't have that many. I mean, you have a lot, but ultimately check your ankles, check your knees, check your hips, check your rotation of your back, check your shoulders, check your elbows, check your wrists, check your neck. Just do a quick check-in, daily, weekly, something like that. Take a feel of the lymph nodes, go through some neural tension testing, and just see how you're doing right to left. A lot of times we can see things coming before we have symptoms. Sensation is what we see, or what I explain to people. You can have sensations. They can be positive or negative. When they become habitually negative and they are impacting your daily life, that is a symptom. So let's know our sensations. Let's know what the body is doing and feeling ahead of time. And then you can be proactive. And then you can have a lot more clarity in dialogue when you're talking to a clinician or your physician or whoever. In my case, obviously, a clinician, a physical therapist, a doctor of physical therapy. When they are taking your subjective, if you can let them know a bunch of things on the front end about your body and what it typically is like, so helpful. So helpful. So hope that is just a little encouraging and something that maybe you haven't thought about and is worth your time. All right, you guys have a fantastic day. I think that we'll wrap it up here. Hopefully, like I said, I can get some graphics on, make it a little bit more clear. But other than that, I'll be back with another episode soon. Thank you for listening. Hopefully you enjoyed it and learned something that you maybe didn't know before. Feel free to reach out directly to me, Chelsea at HiFLEXHealth.com, if you'd like to discuss any of these topics in greater detail, or follow our social media channels, or just look at our website, www.HiFLEXHealth.com. Stay learning, stay moving, stay healing, and as always, we hope that you will come back and learn more at another episode. Thanks.